I really want to focus on one of the most effective economic security programs that we've seen implemented over the last year, 1 to 2 years, which is the child tax credit. A lot of this is really structured as almost a universal basic income for children. And it was arguably one of the largest such experiments in American history, delving and starting getting into the space of a universal income. We talk a lot about how much it reduced poverty, and the child tax credit absolutely did. It cut childhood poverty by roughly 30%. And then when it expired in January, nearly 4 million children went back into poverty, with the highest increase being in Black and Latino communities. But I also want to dig into a little bit of the material impact beyond poverty, because as we've discussed before in this, measurement of poverty can be something that escapes us, but also multidimensional. So Mr. Dattagupta, a Brookings Institute study of the child tax credit found that families who received the CTC experienced declines in their credit card debt. Is that correct?
Yes, that's correct.
And they also had reduced reliance on high-cost financial services such as payday loans, pawn shops, and even reduced rates of selling blood plasma. Is that also correct?
That's absolutely correct. And in the US, blood plasma is a major survival strategy for some of the lowest income families.
And we also saw that they were better able to manage emergency expenses. They strengthened their rainy day funds. Parents were able to pay for tutors for their children, spend more time with them, which, as we know, from an educational and socio-emotional development point of view, is very crucial. And they were also able to purchase more and nutritious food for their families, correct?
That's right. And giving money to parents with the least income ensures much higher quality parental interactions and investments, just as you've highlighted.
And also in the structure of this, the fact that it wasn't just one lump sum at the end of the year, but that it was a recurring source of income for families that were experiencing the hardship that we all did during COVID. But it was that monthly disbursement. Would you say that structuring it that way was also providing immediate benefits and help to these families?
That's right, Representative Ocasio-Cortez. Families budget on a monthly basis, and you can see the effects of the monthly payments really helping families meet basic needs, even preventing evictions.
So I also want to dig into this other side of the argument, which goes into work requirements for programs like the CTC. There were some arguments that some of these economic security programs would disincentivize parents from working and negatively impact workforce participation. But what we also saw from Brookings was that there was no statistically significant changes in employment between CTC eligible households and those without qualifying children. We also saw from the Washington University in St. Louis that there was also no evidence that CTC payments led parents to leave the workforce. We saw no significant difference in employment rates between low income, middle income, or high income families receiving CTC. And we found that nearly 94% of parents said that they plan to continue working or even work more once upon receiving this credit. So, Mr. Dattagupta, would you agree that the CTC, the child tax credit, did not reduce employment or disincentivize parents looking for work?
Overall, that's absolutely correct. Remember, the child tax credit can also help parents afford care that they need to work, afford transportation and other work-related expenses. So there has been not a single study that has shown that the child tax credit, as enhanced by the American Rescue Plan, reduced employment.
In fact, the Center on Budget and Policy Priorities study also found employment increases among cash assistance recipients subject to these work requirements were modest, but they also faded over time. And most cash assistance recipients subject to those work requirements actually stayed poor, and some even became poorer. Ms. Parrott, would you generally agree with this report by your organization that work requirements do little to reduce poverty and in fact can push families even deeper into poverty? And if so, how?
Yeah, thank you for that. Yes, taking away benefits that people need to survive if a parent isn't able or can't meet a work requirement is very counterproductive. It makes the family destabilized. It makes it harder for that parent to move forward. And most importantly, it puts their child at deep risk for deep poverty that has long-lasting negative effects.
Thank you.